Hey travelers, Mag and I here on day 112 of our trip around the United States. This morning is our first day of Iowa. The thing is, the best laid plans don't survive the first round downrange. Aichan has a doctor's appointment today at 3. Totally routine, nothing to worry about. But the appointment is in Omaha, so we can only make it so far into our miles today because we have to make sure that we're there for that. Because we have to delay today, we decided we'd come back into Nebraska City and go get some of those geocaches we had to skip the other day. A lot of them have high favorite points here, and it definitely seemed like it would be the right place to start our day. Once we finish here, we're going to cross the bridge back across into Iowa, and we're going to start on our route for today. We have 320 miles working our way from the very bottom southwest edge of the state all the way up to the very northwest corner of the state. Once we reach that northwest corner, we're done. We're really not going to make it there at the end of the day though, so we're going to get where we get and stop the day there, which is fine because we're actually still 2 days ahead from our compression, so if we end up losing a half of that day, no big deal. The thing to note about Iowa is there are 99 counties in Iowa, so while we'll still be showing you the DeLorme pages, they're almost useless. Really, this is all about the counties. The only places where the DeLorme pages even get consideration are on the very edges of the state where they have small page slices. That's where you have to be careful to make sure that you're getting your DeLorme pages. Beside that, it's counties through and through for this state. Sun's shining, temperature's great, there's no wind, and it really doesn't matter where we make it today because we know we're going to be locked up at 3 in Omaha, and so it is what it is. It's going to be a great day of geocaching. We're going to start off on the trails, so let's go get this thing started. Come on, let's go.
Sitting up above the Missouri River on a scenic 79-acre wooded bluff is the impressive Missouri River Basin Lewis and Clark Interpretive Center. The first thing you'll see is the life-size keelboat, but this is only the beginning. Around the outside of the center, you can enjoy many trails, either through the woods or along the limestone bluffs with breathtaking views of the Missouri River Valley. Since there was a geocache located at the end of the trail, this is where Aichan and I started, giving us a chance to check out the Earth Lodge along the way too. Within the 12,000 square foot visitor center, you can explore and discover the world that unfolded to Lewis and Clark as they first passed through this area in 1804 and returned in 1806. The Missouri River Basin Center is unique from the other museums and centers along the trail because it focuses on the captain's amazing scientific accomplishments. The many exhibits here were designed with the expert advice of the University of Nebraska's distinguished professor, Dr. Gary Moulton, the nation's definitive scholar on the Lewis and Clark journals. It is the perfect opportunity to learn about the animals, birds, fish, plants, and medicine that was used on the expedition. Access to this portion of the Interpretive Center is free to all visitors, but if you pay an admission fee, you can also tour the museum located upstairs.
Sometimes the coordinates say there's only one place to hide it. That doesn't mean it's easy to get into. You gotta figure out the puzzle on some of these things. Here we go. Let's get ourselves a geocache. Okay, just one last find here in Nebraska City, and then we're officially moving to Iowa. Let's always keep in mind that in this game, not everything is as it seems. Geocache blends in in what a muggle would think is a perfectly normal spot. Now there are bison tubes, and then there's whatever this monstrosity is right here. It's labeled as a bison tube. Oh, I love it. It's the biggest I've ever found. I'll say it time and time again. Every state is really like its own country. Those geographic boundaries do have meaning, not just politically, but also on the landscape.
I didn't quite realize how much Aichan and I both enjoy hiking through the woods until hiking through the woods was no longer an option. It is great to be back amongst the trees and enjoying the yellows and greens along the walk.
Not only that, but we get to experience fall colors again. It was really just greens and lighter shades of green, leaning toward yellow in Nebraska and the Dakotas, but there really wasn't fall colors. But look at the difference with the beautiful yellow on this tree. And driving down the roads, there's lots of reds, yellows, and oranges now.
We pop through many small towns as we geocache our way across the counties day by day, but there always seems to be one town that stands out above the others. Today's winner was Red Oak, the county seat of Montgomery County, with a population around 5,300. The town square facing toward this beautiful park lends itself to a sense of togetherness within the community. In 1869, the community was officially founded when the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy Railroad arrived. The community was named Red Oak Junction by the railroad in March of 1876. It wasn't until 1901 that Junction was dropped and the city became known as Red Oak. Red Oak has a proud military history that you can learn about as you traverse the town. During World War I, Red Oak's Company Mike went to the front lines with a full strength of 250. Of that, 160 were casualties and 52 were killed in action. During World War II, Red Oak received national publicity because of the large number of casualties it suffered in the European conflict. In recognition of its casualties, the city was given the name of Victory Ship. Great history is not the only thing you can find here in Red Oak. If you pay attention to the details, you might also be able to find a geocache or two as well. There's nothing quite like hiding a full-size container in plain sight like this. And I didn't even mind that it was filled with bugs. And just down the street from there, once again, we find ourselves admiring geocaches hidden in plain sight. I had never anticipated making it to the Indian Creek Museum during their limited open hours, but Aichun's veterinarian appointment gave us the right timing. We located the geocache right outside, which is a quick park and grab on one of these pieces of farm equipment, and then made our way inside to tour the museum itself. Through this museum, the Indian Creek Historical Society is dedicated to revealing, preserving, and celebrating the agricultural and natural history of the early 20th century of southwest Iowa, and seeks to provide residents with opportunities to become culturally and environmentally knowledgeable. In the time I had available, I was able to tour through the main building and the one warehouse connected to it. And as you can see, it is jam-packed full of artifacts going back through history. And this is just one of the 4 large warehouses full of antique farm machinery, steam engines, stationary engines, horse equipment, fire trucks, hand tools, and antique household items. There is also a working blacksmith shop, a heritage century barn, a one-room schoolhouse, and a log cabin. Not to mention an old phone booth, but sorry to tell you, it doesn't work anymore. Access to the museum is free and run completely by community volunteers who are very knowledgeable about the history. And there is no better way to get to know Mills County in Iowa than coming here for a visit.
Is that a wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube guy? Nope. 4 wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube guys. 4!
On our way back into Iowa from Omaha, we stopped into Trainer to find the one and only geocache in the area, and wouldn't you know it, it was located at the Trainer Veterans Memorial, which has been featuring a Bell UH-1 Vietnam helicopter since 2019.
After the weeks spent in the Dakotas and Nebraska, I was really starting to think that we were going to miss fall colors altogether. So to see these kind of brilliant colors behind me now that we've gotten back to Iowa, fantastic. It turns out we have just enough light to squeeze in the world's largest. So may I introduce to you, without further ado, the world's largest bull.
Albert the Bull has been guarding the peaceful streets of Audubon since he was built in the summer of 1964. This massive beast stands at 28 feet tall and has a 15-foot span between his horns.
And just in case there's any question about whether or not this is actually a bull, there is rock solid proof right here. That's a bull.
We were just beginning to lose the last of our sunlight for the day when we reached Elk Horn, the enclave of Danish ethnicity and home to the Museum of Danish America. This is also the largest rural Danish settlement in the U.S. with a population of around 600. Not only is it a great opportunity to walk around the exterior grounds and check out this old cabin in the back, but it's also a great time to check out the Danish windmill, which was twice voted Iowa's top tourism attraction.
Well, wouldn't you know it, that does it for our first day in Iowa. And it only ended up getting about halfway through our route today, which is just fine. I knew from the get-go we were not going to get through the whole thing since we had to make a detour to Omaha. That cost us about 2.5 hours plus the appointment for Aichun. She was able to get her medication, she's good to go, And we're not really behind because we were already 2 days ahead. So really, we're gonna start tomorrow a day and a half ahead instead. It just throws the timing on our plan off kilter a little. It'll either get absorbed in, or we'll end up getting another half day to add on and end up back 2 days ahead. The thing that really stood out about Iowa right when we came in was the amount of corn here. I know that Nebraska is known as the Cornhusker state, but if you look at the facts, it's only third in corn production in the US. Iowa is the #1 corn producer. And when you look out at the fields here, you can see the difference. The soil is better, they get more rain, and the growing season is longer as well. So Iowa is really the corn leader, and I'm not sure how Nebraska got that name, Cornhusker State, when clearly we're husking corn while we're out. In total, we're gonna have about 9 more days on the road here in Iowa. 99 counties is a lot of counties to go through, but we're definitely looking forward to it. For now, even though the sun's going down, Aichan and I are gonna continue to push on north tonight. We're still not gonna make it to the end of our planned route for the day. It's just too far for us. But we'll make it as far as we get, and in the morning, you'll get to see where our starting point is. Thank you for joining us. Like this video, subscribe to stay tuned for daily updates, and we'll see you out on the trails.